Matter and Energy in Ecosystems Unit, Lesson 1.3, Sunlight and Life. Activity 2, Active Reading, Sunlight and Life. Let's discuss your responses to the warm-up. Could you have an ecosystem without planets? Explain. Next, you will read an article to continue investigating where the energy storage molecules in an ecosystem come from. We'll read the introduction to this article set together. Then you'll each choose one of 3 articles to learn about real-life mutation examples. Scientists often read articles to learn about recent research. As student ecologists, reading actively and annotating your articles will help you find information that could be important for figuring out the answers to our questions. I will model active reading. I'll show you how to annotate to show your thinking, some strategies you can use, such as asking questions and making connections. Our focus strategy for this unit, summarizing. The article set is called Sunlight and Life. I know that living things are part of an ecosystem. It makes me wonder if sunlight is too. I can add a note asking if sunlight is part of an ecosystem too. Is sunlight part of an ecosystem? Next, I'll read the first paragraph out loud. The edge of a big lake is full of life. Fish dart through the bright green reeds, ducks dive for algae growing in the shallow mud, and insects buzz everywhere. However, if you go out to the middle of the lake and dive to the bottom, you'll find a dead zone, a dark and barren area with hardly any organisms. No fish, no plants, not much of anything. This paragraph says that the bottom of the middle of the lake is referred to as a dead zone. I wonder why that is. Why is the bottom of the middle of the lake a dead zone? Sophisticated readers often pause after a chunk of text and revise their thinking. Then they write a quick summary. This strategy is called summarizing. Summarizing can help the ideas stick in your brain, and the summarizing you write is a resource that you can go back and check. Let's summarize the first paragraph together. It tells me that there are more organisms living near the edges of the lake than there are in the center. I can summarize this paragraph with a brief note of what I think the paragraph says. Summary: more organisms live near the edges of the lake than the center. I don't know why this is yet, so my summary is going to be a bit incomplete. Now I'll read the second paragraph aloud. Why do some areas support so much life while other areas are relatively lifeless? To survive, organisms need energy, and this energy comes from energy storage molecules. These molecules store energy that can be released in an organism's body. Energy storage molecules include glucose, starch, and fat. Ecosystems with lots of organisms need to have lots of energy storage molecules to keep all those organisms alive. Some ecosystems contain lots of energy storage molecules, while others don't contain as many. This paragraph tells me that some ecosystems contain more energy storage molecules than others. I bet this would interest the econauts. They had to end their experiment after the amount of energy storage molecules decreased. Not having enough energy storage molecules caused the biodome to fail. I can summarize the important parts of this paragraph in a brief note. I think that this paragraph is mostly about how the number of energy storage molecules in an ecosystem affects the number of organisms that can live there. Ecosystems with a lot of organisms need a lot of energy storage molecules. Let's read the rest of the introduction together. As we read, we should continue to think about questions, connections, and big ideas that can be summarized. Only producers, such as plants, can make the energy storage molecules that fuel life in an ecosystem. Energy storage molecules are made mostly of carbon, and carbon is all around us in the form of carbon dioxide gas. Producers take in carbon dioxide molecules from the air and water. Using energy from sunlight, producers combine the carbon dioxide molecules with water molecules, chain them into glucose molecules and oxygen molecules. This process is called photosynthesis. Through photosynthesis, producers take carbon from the abiotic matter and move it into biotic matter in the form of glucose. Then the organisms in an ecosystem can use that glucose to make other energy storage molecules like starch and fat. Caption: using energy from sunlight, carbon dioxide and water react to form glucose, an energy storage molecule, and oxygen. During this reaction, atoms are rearranged. Caption: photosynthesis happens in cell parts called chloroplasts. Sunlight is one reason some ecosystems have so many more energy storage molecules, and so much more life than others. With more sunlight, producers like plants and algae can do more photosynthesis. They take more carbon out of the atmosphere and turn it into more energy storage molecules to meet their energy needs. As producers make more energy storage molecules, consumers, the animals that eat the producers, get more energy storage molecules from eating the producers. Those consumers use energy from the energy storage molecules to survive and reproduce, increasing in number. Then secondary consumers, the ones that eat the animals, are able to get more energy storage molecules from eating the primary consumers that ate the plants. An ecosystem that gets lots of sunlight can support lots of organisms, while an ecosystem that gets less sunlight can support fewer organisms. Caption: in deep lakes, there are many more organisms living in the shallow water where light can penetrate. In the deepest, darkest waters of a lake, not much life exists. To find out about other ecosystems where the amount of sunlight has a big effect on the amount of living things, read one of the chapters that follow. Not every paragraph needs a summary. Sometimes 2 or more paragraphs together will make up an important idea that needs to be summarized. You will make your own choices about when to summarize based on when there is an especially important idea you want to note. You don't need to summarize every paragraph, but I would like you to try to use this strategy at least once or twice while reading today. You should also continue to use other strategies we have been practicing this year. Students, choose an article, chapter 2, 3, or 4, and begin reading and annotating. End of activity.